episode 266 of Magic the Amateuring.
It's a podcast. It's a podcast that's happening. It's a podcast that's happening now. It's a podcast that's happening now with Maria and Meghan. That's us.
It has happened in the past as well and will happen in the future.
Correct. At least one of those things is already true. And one of them is likely to be true, barring catastrophe. What kind of catastrophe? Well,
could be anything.
Could be.
All the oranges could decide to revolt.
Snakes.
Period.
Yeah.
Snakes.
Like they don't need any other more there's no additional explanation that you need in that.
It could be a real dolphin leaving scenario.
Snakes.
Snakes. But so far, snakes haven't happened. I mean, they've happened, but they haven't happened. So this episode will continue for the time being until further snake notice.
That's right. How do snakes give notice? You don't want to know.
You really don't.
By the time you find out, it's too late.
It's too late.
Because snake notice is notice after the fact.
When you're being slowly digested in their snake stum.
That's right.
That's the time you realize, oh no.
Did you guys know that Florida has like a real issue with constrictors being an invasive species because people like adopt them as pets and then decide that they don't want them and they just let them free into the Everglades.
Terrifying.
And constrictors, they're just like, yeah, man.
This is what I wanted all along.
Yes.
That was their plan.
Yeah. So I saw there's like a photo of a constrictor that ate like an alligator. And it busted open from the inside because it was too big for it. Like it ate an alligator that was too big.
But you know that snake went for it.
It really did.
It reached for the moon and landed among the exploded snakes. Which I think is the saying.
Shoot for the moon, and at least if you don't make it, you will land amongst exploded snakes.
On today's episode, we're going to talk magical things like GP Montreal, which is all about standard.
That's right. What happened at GP Montreal? Players played Magic, and it was standard.
But we're going to go more in depth than that.
No, that was the length of this.
That was it?
If you tune in for the segment later, it'll just be me saying that again, and that's it. Then we'll move on to the next thing.
Well, the next thing is actually a bit of a departure for our show.
That's right.
Yeah, so I was in Seattle playing at Mock's boarding house for a charity tournament for Treehouse, which supports foster youth in the Seattle area. And they ended up raising $125,000 for Treehouse, which is amazing.
That is.
A bunch of gamers got to compete in a board game tournament.
Wow.
And we played some games that were not Magic, Meghan.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
I know. It sounds
That's
crazy.
Allowed?
I don't know. You know, there are games that aren't Magic. But what?
But what?
Yeah.
I thought all games were just iterations of Magic.
I guess in a way,
Scrabble
a lot are.
It's Magic with letters.
You can spell Magic.
Shoots and ladders. Magic with ladders.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
Accurate.
Can be done.
So we're going to talk about other games that aren't Magic, that are enjoyable and fun to play, and maybe even you bring them with you at a Magic tournament to play in between rounds or after the day is done, something like that. Just because, you know what, we want to talk about some other cool stuff that's going on in the gaming world.
That's right. Then we're going to give you a little preview of what we think is going to be the haps at GP Vegas. Because it's coming up. It is not one tournament. It is not two tournaments. It is three tournaments, which means you have to make a lot of choices about what you're going to do.
Yeah. And you got to get your slot pulling hands ready.
Yeah.
Cha-ching, 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 gold. Just kidding. When I played the slots in Vegas, do you know what I did?
Lose money?
Lost it all.
Yep. It's the way it works, you guys, and don't forget it.
Don't fall into this trap. But before we get to our show, of course, it's the piece de resistance, which is you. You are the piece de resistance.
If we could put you in a museum, we would.
I would surround you in a beautiful plexiglass case and feed you, through a small hole in the side like a prisoner.
That went from like complimentary to dark.
And people would be watching you 24/7, or at least the hours the museum is open. It's beautiful.
You would be able to drink water like a hamster.
You don't know that I would love that. I would
You would enjoy drinking water like a hamster?
Human-sized hamster water feeder, and I would drink out of it quite happily. There was a time.
So disturbing.
That somebody asked me, I went into a gas station on a road trip and was like, do you want anything? I was like, please give me a water. They brought me back a water and I started drinking it like a hamster. Just like, and they just looked back at me with horror in their eyes.
Like, you deserved that.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Living out my fantasy.
Well, whether or not you would enjoy drinking water like a hamster, we really appreciate if you are a patron of this show. Thank you so much. If you are not yet a patron, patreon.com/MtACast. Contribute as little as $1 an episode, and you keep this stuff running as it should. And Maria drinking water like a hamster, as she should or should not, depending on your opinion of that situation.
We are 73% towards our next goal. So if you want to help us reach that goal, head on over patreon.com/MtACast. Join the less than 1% club, the best than 1% club.
That's right. And that next goal is some sweet deck boxes that only patrons will be able to purchase.
That's pretty great.
That is amazing.
Yeah, you get access to our Discord chat with a lot of cool people chatting in there, by the way.
Yeah.
So if you want to be a cool kid,
access to some extra special content and to all of the gratitude that can potentially fill our hearts. And our hearts are some percentage Minnesotan.
Yeah.
It's different for each of us.
Yes.
And Minnesotans have a lot of gratitude.
That's very true.
We also have a lot of passive aggression. So watch out for that part.
But but the gratitude is, a large portion.
It's a huge part of it.
Speaking of gratitude.
Yes.
We have lots of gratitude, of course, as well for cardkingdom.com/MtACast, which is where you should head to buy anything that you need in your magical life.
That's
Singles, boosters, sleeves, paraphernalia.
These sweet battle decks.
Oh, yeah. Those decks are awesome.
They are so sweet.
By the way, designed by Chris Van Meter.
What?
So I played in that charity tournament that I mentioned, the Gauntlet is what it was called, with Chris. He was on our team, the Card Kingdom affiliate team, and he designed these decks. And solid, awesome, just super nice guy. And he puts a lot of hard time and work into making sure these decks are great and battle well against each other. What? So if you want to teach somebody, you can get them battle decks and they'll learn Magic. And there's also beginner decks. Card Kingdom sells specific monocolored beginner decks, which is actually how Meghan and I learned the game.
Yeah.
So that is how I would recommend somebody
one
learn
of the
game.
most common questions that we get is how to teach people, and stuff like this is so important and awesome because this is literally how we learned. Was playing decks that were built to be battled against each other and were easy to understand and help you learn Magic. Yeah,
starting out with a super complicated, like sometimes even, one of those Planeswalker decks or something like that can be a little intimidating, I think. So check it out. cardkingdom.com/MtACast is the link to use to buy anything there, and lets them know that you support our show and you support Card Kingdom, because they're a super great store, and we'll get into it more when we talk about the charity event, just how great they are. But cardkingdom.com/MtACast. Of course, check out our YouTube channel, youtube.com/MtACast, where you can watch the video version of this show.
What?
Yeah,
Why did you pound the desk?
It was for emphasis.
Oh, wow.
And I just want to say at the top of the show, we have shirts, by the way, on our store, magictheamateurin.com/shop. And I wanted to get new shirts, and Meghan said, no, not until we sell these shirts.
You may not get new design shirts. We've talked about so many cool designs that we want on a shirt.
Yeah.
We cannot do it.
I'm shackled here, okay?
That's right. By me and my determination to be responsible.
So help us out. Go buy a shirt. We're having a bit of an issue with changing your state, but if your state auto-populates correctly for your billing and payment information, guess what? You're fine. If not, I'm working on it, okay?
We'll figure it out.
The internet is hard. GP Montreal. Meghan, you were there. You were in the action.
I was there.
After much...
I was in the room where it happened.
Consternation getting to Canada.
Oh my goodness. Should we do like a mini aside that was like Meghan's joke of a week?
Yeah, because
because it was really
their story when you went to where were you going? You're going through New York. You told that story, which amused me. So I want to know this story too.
Okay. Wow, that's right. The wrong train story.
Yeah.
That was something else also. So we were in Nashville. I don't remember if I told this part of the story on the last podcast where we were in Nashville and we're in the in the lobby of the hotel. I am on Monday when I'm getting ready to leave, and I'm like repacking my backpack as I'm waiting for the lift. And the lift arrives, and I'm just like, oh, so I grab all my things and I leave, and I get to the airport, and I realize that I just left my laptop in the hotel lobby.
What was
just
that sinking
left
feeling?
it there. It was like the worst feel. It was one of the worst feelings.
Yeah.
Like just because I was like putting my stuff into the bin to go through security.
Yeah.
And I didn't have enough time to go back and get it. So it's when I was like, you're supposed to pull out your laptop and put it in the bin. It was then that I noticed it. And I was just like, oh my God.
So horrible.
So I got through security immediately. As I grabbed all my things, I like called the hotel and was like, I left my computer in the lobby like a big time idiot. And luckily it was still there.
Oh, Nashville. The people of Nashville. Yeah. Thank you
Yes.
for not stealing Megan's laptop.
Thank you a million times. And then I was like, okay, you need to mail it to me in Montreal because that's where I'm going to be. Like, I need it for working this weekend, and you can't mail it home because I'm going to be at home for like 9 hours. So I'm not going to get there in time, and I need it.
Yeah.
So like, okay, great. And so they like, they're in theory going to mail it to Montreal. Then Maria and I are in Syracuse for a couple of days.
Yes.
I go from Nashville. I'm home for literally 9 hours.
Yeah.
From midnight to 9 in the morning. Take all my shit out of my bag, put a bunch of other stuff in it, and then like get ready and go to the airport again. And we're in Syracuse for a couple of days, and I'm supposed to fly to Montreal on Thursday. And on Wednesday night, I realized that I forgot my passport.
Oh,
like I just didn't bring it with me.
So brutal.
And Maria was there as the realization like washed over me.
I saw it happen.
Like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like, yep. This is like, I really effed it up. I really did it this time. And so I'm like, okay. And then, I call and I switch my flight to fly out Friday instead. Friday night. And I call my cat sitter and I have her overnight me my passport the next day. She goes to my house and gets it and mails it to me, which is so nice of her. And I stay with friends in Syracuse. And they're so nice. Everybody is so nice to me. And my passport gets there and I get to Montreal and my computer didn't get there because the Nashville hotel put the wrong country code on it.
And like the postal service was like, Canada.
So I'm like, yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know where that is. Going right back.
Exactly. So they like sent it back. So I'm like, don't mail it to Montreal because by the time it gets there, I won't be there anymore.
Ah!
So I have them mail my computer back home. I still don't have it.
This is epic. Wow.
But I managed to be in Montreal and work that weekend. It was something else.
Wow, that is a hero's journey, Megan.
It really was.
So you finally got everything. Yeah. Everything's fine. You made it.
Yep.
You made it in the country.
Yep.
And people sat down to sling some standard after the Pro Tour, which is always interesting to see if that changes how people approach the format. If they're going to change to beat Marvel, or if Marvel's still going to come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, yes and yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes and yes are the answers to your question.
All right, great. So the guy who took it all down was playing Marvel.
Yes.
So
and the other guy in the finals was playing Marvel.
Marvel on Marvel.
It was Marvel v. Marvel. But there were only 3 copies of Marvel in the top 8.
Oh, well, that's good.
Which, I think some people were very surprised because people were expecting it to be like Marvel all day. And it was not.
The Marvel Universe.
That's right. It was 3 copies of Marvel. Then we had some stuff like, we had some Mardu vehicles lists come back.
Oh.
They're like, hey, remember me? I'm not giving up without a fight.
Wow.
And we had a green-black winding constrictor counters style deck.
Ooh, black-green energy?
No, it was like it was like winding constrictor, like put counters on everything.
Oh, okay.
It did have like long tusk cub. Because man, you can put a lot of counters on that sucker.
That little
with a winding constrictor.
Get big.
Yeah, it really goes for it.
And that Gear Hulk is just like, here's some more.
Exactly. Gear Hulk is like, everybody gets counteratus, and Walking Ballista is like, I'll take double the counters, please. It's like, okay. So, anyways, yeah. And then there was also a blue-red control. Pretty great.
We know how you feel about that deck, Megan.
And I'm missing one.
We have black-green energy.
No, that's 9th.
9th. Okay.
But that is black green energy.
Top 8.
Here we go.
Blue red control.
Blue red control. Black green constrictor.
Mono black zombies.
That's right. So it was there was a sprinkling of everything.
Well, that's really
good.
A smattering of decks.
A smattering of decks.
What was
in the
your
top 8?
favorite?
Blue red control.
Okay.
Is that what you're gonna ask? No.
No.
Okay.
I was gonna ask what your
Torrential
favorite.
What?
Can you tell me what your favorite moment from the tournament was?
Oh yeah, sure. Actually, that's a really good question. Because there was, there were lots of good games happening.
Yeah.
Which is super cool to see. I think one of the best moments was to see the cut to top 8 and be like, oh, there's going to be a really diverse top 8 in terms of decks that are being played here.
Sure.
Which is super cool. Yeah.
I'm looking.
That was a big part of it.
So
there was a sweet blue-black control deck.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who brought that to the table?
Shaheen Sarani.
Shaheen is known for being a blue-black. That sentence is impossible. Shaheen is known for being a blue-black control player.
That is correct.
So he must have been as happy as a worm in the dirt.
That's a
dirt
saying.
worm.
That's definitely a saying. Anyways, and came in 36th or something. So I'm excited to see people piloting that deck.
Oh, that
looks super
awesome.
cool. There's also a black-red control that came in 34th.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool also. And you can find 34th and 36th don't make it into the 9 through 32 deck list.
Sure.
But if you look at my top moments of GP, which is on the GP coverage page.
Yeah.
I put both of those lists in there because they were control lists. Could I help myself?
No, you could not.
Also, do you know what? There were so many nice Canadians.
Canadians are the nicest
there were
people.
just so many nice Canadians at this tournament.
And you said a lot of them were speaking French, which is really awesome.
Yeah. So Montreal, I'd never been to Montreal. I've been to Vancouver a lot. I've been to Toronto once. And the farther east you get, the more French speaking.
Because you're closer to France.
That's exactly why. That's exactly why. The closer you get in proximity to France in Canada, the more people speak French. But anyways, yeah. So Montreal is a lot of people primarily speak French.
Cool.
Which is really cool. And I hadn't I knew that obviously there's it is French speaking, but I didn't realize how much so. So that was super cool. And I was I felt bad. I was I should have brushed up on my French. It didn't even occur to me because I'm a jerk and an American.
Did you learn any French while you were there?
I did not. Except merci, which is thank you.
Did you learn pomme de terre?
Is that a land potato?
Yes. Yes, it means potato. Apple of the earth.
Apple of the earth. There we go.
I love when languages have really cute names for something. I'm looking here at this article, White Blue Vehicles with Donald Smith.
That's right.
That's kind of cool. It's combining 2 decks.
So that was an interesting one. So he looked at the metagame and he was like, hey, do you know what? There's a lot of Marvel and then there's this aggro deck. And back before Smuggler's Copter was banned, there was a metagame that had a Marvel deck that was back when there was Emrakul.
Yeah.
And that had an aggro deck, and this white-blue deck did well then. So we kind of transposed it, and he was take out Smuggler's Copters, obviously, and put in Hearts of Kirin and some stuff like that, which was super cool. So we kind of transposed a deck that was in a similar metagame and adapted it for the current metagame, because he noticed some parallels. So that was pretty cool. It had Glorybound Initiate, which is a new Amonkhet card, and pilots a Heart of Kirin real well. And obviously, some spell cues, some good old spell quellers, which was pretty cool. So it's kind of aggro tempo-y.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and then there's also a sweet Mardu Planeswalkers deck, which was just a lot of Planeswalkers.
Ooh, and cut to ribbons. All right. I'm in for that. So
it was awesome. Overall, I saw a lot of super cool decks. There's also a black-red aggro deck, which is up your alley.
Is that what was that doing? Was that some vampire shenanigans yet?
No, it was just sort of being take all these little red-black creatures and get in there and then finish them off with cut to ribbons.
Oh, that's cool.
Because you can ribbons people.
Oh, I love ribbonsing people.
I ribbons you.
Ribbons. It's not quite as weird as saying I mouth you.
No, because you can't mouth somebody. You
No.
mouth yourself.
If only, Megan.
What?
Nothing.
No.
I'm sorry. It was an obvious joke, and I went there.
I guess really you're mouthing the battlefield.
Which is really unsanitary.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You don't know what's been on those tables.
No, you really don't. Even if it's your own playmat, like just don't do it. That's gross.
Do it.
You're spreading germs like crazy.
Are you going to play in a PPTQ this weekend?
I am. I'm playing in a limited PPTQ and a standard PPTQ.
All right, everybody, keep
It's
your
going to be
toes
a hardcore
crossed.
weekend because you guys, I am 60 points away from a first round bye.
Yes.
And it finishes on Sunday. It's the last day. So if I don't get those 60 points, I'm going to be so mad.
You should go play. Do you
Literally everything.
You should go like do an F&M
Oh my goodness, I really should.
just to make sure.
I should.
Because buys, by the way,
They're so important.
are amazing.
So good.
Like, how would you like to play
OP.
1 or 2 rounds just free win?
Yeah.
It's insane.
You literally just get away.
Or 3, but you know,
Yeah.
those days
That's absurd.
are far away from us.
Anyways, it was super cool, and I met a lot of really lovely listeners. We got some adorable cat tokens and some really cool cardamajigs. Made a couple of like special metal tokens.
Oh, sweet! Those are those
which
are great.
Are
The enamel
really
tokens.
pretty and really cool. And yeah, I just met a couple of other really lovely listeners. So thanks to everybody who came and said hi. It was so nice.
Or bonjour.
Or bonjour.
Or pomme de terre. That's my French greeting. Potato.
Hello, potato.
Other games that aren't magic.
That's right.
They exist.
Are other games out there, everybody. Sometimes you walk into a game store and they have shelves full of boxes, and those boxes have words and pictures.
Yeah.
And you can pick them up and play with them.
It's crazy, but it's true.
I know. Don't freak out.
Don't
shut
run
off this
screaming.
podcast thinking that we are just conspiracy theorists that believe in the
It's
existence
real.
of other games. I
There's
have
a
seen
Facebook
them.
group.
All right? I have seen them with my eyes. I have touched them with my regular hands.
And also, I've touched them with my robot hands.
Oh, I've touched them with my raccoon hands.
Oh, yeah. Megan.
Which are my
raccoon.
regular hands.
Yeah. Fun fact.
Fun fact.
So we wanted to have a little chat with you about these games because, as we mentioned at the top of the show, this past weekend I was in Seattle for the Mox Charity Gauntlet Infinity, which featured a bunch of teams, 20 to be exact, of various people, just like game designers.
Hello.
Megan's leaving to take a phone call, so I'm going to tell you about it. Various game designers from around the Seattle area, people who just play at Mox Boarding House in Bellevue in Washington, which, by the way, if you've never been there, the store is absolutely incredible. They featured people from Wizards of the Coast, had 2 teams here there playing in the gauntlet. Just a lot of really awesome people gathering together to compete in this board game tournament, but more importantly, raise money for charity for Treehouse, which we said is an organization that supports foster youth in Seattle. So at the end, like I said, they raised $125,000, which is amazing. And I want to thank anybody who donated to the Card Kingdom affiliate team because we did pretty well and we got some power-ups for the games, which meant we got to start games with extra sort of like bonuses, which was really cool.
That's such an incentive.
It didn't help us because we did really bad. But thank you, because it's all for a good cause. We ended second from last, so our mission to not finish last was accomplished. However,
congratulations.
It was because one of the teams quit halfway through the game. So,
all right.
You know what? We're gonna take it. We were team not last, and that remained true. So we're gonna go over some of the games that we played and what they're like, and Megan's gonna tell us what she's been playing that hasn't been Magic.
That's right. So
Pretty
Maria,
cool game.
Hit us with the first game.
Okay, so number 1 was Kalis.
Conspiracy theory, there are no other games besides
Megan!
Magic.
I told you! I thought you were in on this with me!
All right, fine.
Okay.
Tell me about it. Guess I'll humor you.
It's It's called Caylus, and it's an OG worker placement game from Europe. And what you do is you place your little workers and you get resources, and you spend those resources to get things like points or other resources. You build buildings. You build a castle for the king, and you're trying to amass points and get the most points by the end of the game. So turns out playing games with people who are, people who are really serious about board games are actually also really good with board games. And we were all sadly unprepared, but it was a very fun game. It requires quite a lot of concentration and planning and strategy because there are no random elements other than your turn order at the beginning of the game, which, by the way, you can change throughout the game.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. I've never played a game where you could manipulate turn order, and just kind of like choose your fate.
It's pretty important in the games that I've played that have the ability to, like, the ones that I've played where it's basically taking in worker placement, placing a worker on, I'm going to get to go first.
And this is what I'm doing.
Super powerful.
Yes, it is. Yeah. Because if you have a strategy, you want to follow through with that strategy and keep it consistent.
Hardcore.
And if somebody's going to, I'm pretty sure somebody, was into what I was doing. They got it and they were like, and they started taking over, and I was like, no, because there's nothing I could do because I wasn't going first.
No, and that's how. Okay, so we were gonna do them separate, but I'll say that I played a very small worker placement game called Mintworks.
Oh, cool.
And it fits in a little mint tin. It's really cute.
Polly Pocket.
We were playing with 4 people, and I felt like I was going last for the first round of the game. And I just felt like I literally got so far behind by being the person who was placing 4th. And I almost caught up because for the next 3 rounds, I placed on going first.
Yep.
And that was the only, it was so powerful that I wasn't willing to give it up. And I almost caught up, but I was put literally so far behind by going 4th.
Yeah, it's important.
It was crazy.
It's important.
Yeah.
A lot of people compared, what do I want? I want to say World Wake, but that's definitely a Magic game.
That's definitely a Magic game. Conspiracy, they're all Magic.
Some other game is like baby version of Caylus that I can't remember. Okay. It starts with a W. Anyway, I loved it, and despite losing horribly, would play it again in a second. So I recommend Caylus if you haven't checked it out. Go and check it out. It was a great time.
Nice.
Coming up second was Ponzi Scheme. Ponzi Scheme. So
this is definitely a conspiracy.
Ponzi schemes are real, Meghan says. That's not a game. It ruins people's lives.
It's factually true.
With Ponzi scheme, essentially what you do is you take out loans from a bank and you amass certain industries. What they are, irrelevant. But
can you make them up in the game?
Yes, we did.
What you're doing?
We said one was French fries, one was global domination, one was boats, and one was wheat. Which
I love, what's your Ponzi scheme? Boats.
So yeah, you could call them whatever because there's no indication really of what they are other than a tiny little image on them. So you're trying to not go bankrupt before everybody else. The weird thing about the game is that eventually somebody will go bankrupt. You will not be able to repay your loan and you lose. And then everybody else counts their points from there. But that's why it's kind of like the whole time I was playing, I was like singing in my head, stay alive from Hamilton. Because the main object is to not die, not lose your money and place. But when it gets down to the end, it's very high stress because you are reliant on your other team, on your other people you're playing this game with to not go down in flames because you're also trading. You're trading your various industries for money.
Yeah.
And if somebody, instead wants to buy your industry off of you or something or switches a trade on you, you all of a sudden have found yourself in a very bad position because you have to make some smart decisions on exactly how much money you put in that envelope for trading. Anyway, we all also lost that game. So we're all pretty bad. We all busted in Ponzi Scheme, but it was fun. It was very unique. Very different game.
And remember that really, if you play real life Ponzi Scheme, everybody loses.
Yep. Accurate.
Don't do it.
There was a trivia round, which was all superhero trivia. Thank God we had Graham on our team from Loading Ready Run because he was very good at that. I helped with the answer to one question, which was about Squirrel Girl. So I feel like I really contributed.
Yeah, you did.
And then we played, the final game was called Captain Sonar, which is a really cool cooperative 4-player versus 4-player game where you're piloting a submarine and you have different positions like in Star Trek. So there's a captain, there's weapons, there's engineering, and you have to communicate to try and shoot down the other person's sub. Not really down. I guess it goes down in the water. Torpedo the other person's sub before they torpedo yours and find it on a map.
Do torpedo subs go up or down?
Like, do they come to the surface like a dying fish?
Yeah, like that's my real question.
I don't actually know.
I don't know either. This is a dark question that I feel weird about.
I know, but we do know somebody who listens to our show has played Magic on a sub.
That's right.
Maybe they know the answer to this.
I hope they don't think about it.
Yeah, sorry.
I feel bad if we made them think about it. Sorry. Anyways, moving on.
Which it seems very fun. We didn't play that version. We played a special kind of like hidden gem treasure hunt puzzle version.
That's much nicer.
So we were just trying to find gems on a map, working together. But I would be super excited to play this game in real life. So this is something that I want to get 8 people together and play because I think it would just be awesome. So it's like Battleship plus pretending you're on Star Trek, which, I mean, I am all in for that. So that's Captain Sonar. And at the end of the day, like I said, I finished second to last. Asterisk. But it was a great tournament. Card Kingdom and Mox Boarding House, just amazing that they put so much time and effort into making this thing happen. And everybody who worked there was extraordinarily nice the whole time. I won a Muppet. By the way.
That's so great.
you went on social media.
You'll get to see him.
The Muppet will be around.
Yeah.
He's being shipped to me. It was very hard parting. I had to put him in a bag to be shipped, and I was like, it's okay, buddy. You'll get it to me okay, and everything will be fine. I felt an attachment already to bury the Muppet. But yeah, it was great. So that was the Gauntlet and the games that I've been playing recently. Megan, tell me about your new fave fad.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I mentioned Mintworks, which is fun, and I would recommend, like, especially if you go to a Grand Prix or tournaments with friends, and you need something to play between rounds because it's so small, and it is a lot of fun, and it goes pretty quick.
Sounds adorable.
We've also been playing a game called Skulls and Roses, which is, like, my new favorite thing.
It's so cool.
And it's great. The best part is like the actual game is so pretty. Like so you can proxy the game out with magic cards with just lands, which is what I've been doing on the road while I've been teaching people.
Yeah.
But I've also I bought the physical game because it's so pretty, and you should also. But it's a very cool. It's kind of like what I like about it is that when you teach it to people, you're only as good as like reading the metagame of the group that you're with. So just because you're the person who's played it before doesn't mean you're gonna win.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of like a tic-tac-toe or like kind of like a group rock paper scissors almost.
Yeah.
That has a lot in terms of like you're playing against other people, and it's hard to explain without the pieces and without multiple people to play, but I super recommend it. Go get it. It's a lot of fun.
It took you like 30 seconds to teach us how to play too.
Yeah, exactly. It's so quick to learn. It's great, and that's one of my other favorite things, and you can play it on the road.
Yeah.
I also played Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. Which
Sounds
is a bomb defusal
game.
So this one is online. So one person's on a computer.
Yeah.
And then there's a printed out, or we had like a printed out manual. And what they're doing is they're in this in this simulation where they're in a room with a bomb. But they've forgotten how to defuse the bomb. They don't know how.
I know this game.
Yeah, so they tell you about all of the different pieces that they're seeing, and then whoever, like, you flip to the pages for that, and then you like walk them through how to defuse that part of the bomb.
I love it.
And you're trying to get through all of the pieces before the time runs out. Great. It's great because they're like, some of them are like word based and some of them are just like communication based and some of them are memory based.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really great.
So it's different every time, essentially.
It was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite game you would recommend Magic players might like? Tweet at us at MtACast and let us know what it is, because we always love finding new games that may or may not exist. We believe they exist, but we might be crazy. Just quickly, we wanted to mention that we will be at Grand Prix Las Vegas coming up next month.
That's right.
We will be there recording a live episode.
Ooh.
So if you want to be in the audience for an episode of Magic the Amateuring, I'm not really sure what that means yet because we don't know what we're going to do in our show. But
who freaking knows?
But it's probably going to be like we're going to give away stuff. We're going to have special guests. Yeah. Those are two things I can pretty much guarantee.
Yes. And yes.
And high fives for the whole audience.
High fives for the crew.
That's going to be happening on Thursday.
Yes.
At what time?
5 p.m.
5 p.m. We'll give you more details as we get closer. But if you're going to be in Vegas, put that on your calendar because we want to pack the house because it'll be cool.
And what formats are people going to be playing at Vegas so that you can start thinking about what you should be playing if you're playing at Vegas? There's going to be some modern. That's right. We know that Maria loves Boggles.
Yeah.
Although it was not kind to her recently.
It was not. I really have to make the choice if I want to give them another run for their money or just abandon them.
I love Green White Elves is great. Elves in general is great. Turns is great. There's a lot of great options out there right now, you guys. I've been thinking about trying out the Breach Titan deck.
Oh, yeah.
It's like through the Breach and Primeval Titan.
That's what Athena played, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty great deck also. There's going to be Legacy.
Legacy!
The world is wide open. Sensei's Divining Top is gone.
You can play Force of Will.
What's happened? People can always play Force of Will.
Yeah, I know. Oh, but you can.
Yeah.
It's legal.
Do you want to play Force of Will?
Play Legacy. So speaking of Boggles, a friend of the show, April, April on Twitter, made a Legacy Boggles deck that she's been playing on Magic Online. And you can see her on our YouTube sister channel, MTA Plays, youtube.com/MTA Plays. Watch her play this Boggles deck, which I believe, I don't think I'm lying to you, she's only lost one match with.
Holy cow.
Across a few leagues.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm obviously
and do you know what?
Very happy about
Top
that.
is gone, so Terminus isn't so much a thing anymore. So that's pretty
miracles. Cool. Yeah, so
miracles.
That's happening. And limited.
What?
Limited in Vegas happening as well.
That's right.
So
I'm in catch you there.
It hurts. you regret everything.
I didn't mean it.
Megan's Commander Adventure.
Hey everybody, like I mentioned, I ended up in Syracuse for longer than I planned.
Tale as old as time.
Yep, but it was pretty great because I got to hang out with Stibbs, who used to be part of the Magic coverage team, be a writer on the Magic coverage team. And he has like an amazing Commander collection.
Oh, yes.
It's incredible. And he has it all sorted. So he has it like all of the Commanders sorted so you can sift through all the legendary creatures and all of the different like each color and each color pairing. It was so cool. And then you can go through the cards. So I was like, all right, let's do it. We'll sit down and we'll build a Commander deck. And I built a Kefnet the Mindful.
That seems so you.
It is so me. If you can't have Treasure Cruise, at least you can draw cards with a giant bird.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And so it was like such a process. Started like such a process. Cards. So and like first like just picking a commander, and I went through and I was like, okay, I know I want blue, and I want something about drawing cards. And eventually I was just sort of like, do you know what? For right now, like this is the most pure version. It's just like blue, drawing cards. And I liked that it was cheap, right? Because like your commander, every time that you recast it from the command zone, it costs more.
Yes.
So it's nice if it's starting at 3, because when it gets more expensive, it's not going to like, there were some really other cool cards that I was like, this is pretty awesome. But they were pretty expensive. Yeah. So I was like, do you know what? 3 seems pretty good to me. And indestructible, pretty sick.
Not irrelevant. So what the heck? How do you decide what other cards you're putting in your deck?
Oh my goodness, Maria. So we started with artifacts.
Why?
Just because, you know,
because you have to be mono blue.
Yeah, you have to be mono blue. If your commander is mono blue, you're mono blue.
Okay.
So we're starting with just blue.
Yeah.
And so we'll start with artifacts, and like ramp is really good in commander. And so, you know, we go through and we look at all of the colorless ones, and I'm looking at like, okay, what are some like mana rocks? What are some ways to keep from dying? Like some removal stuff, like Perilous Vault, for instance, or All is Dust. Like some classic, like get rid of it all, Oblivion Stone. So everything is gone removal, which is pretty cool. So we start with that.
Okay.
And I pick out from just the artifacts, literally like already 100 cards.
Really?
Like so many things.
Wow.
So many things. And so from there, like I said, like at least for me, what worked was thinking about it in the categories of like, what is this card doing? So it's like, oh, this is a mana rock. It's going to ramp me.
So why do I want to ramp?
And it's like looking at them and it's like there's a ton of repeats over the history of Magic of that kind of effect.
Yeah.
So you can take out all of the worst ones. So I looked for things that's like Hedron Archive. It's like, oh, if I draw this late in the game and I don't need it, it draws me cards. So that's awesome. So like I'll prioritize the ones that are the cheapest and the ones that if they have good late game utility. Sure. Even if I draw them, I can just cash them in for a different card. So that was pretty cool. And then we went through all of the blue spells and I was just in heaven.
Oh boy.
There's so many ways to counter other people's things. And I couldn't just counter spells and draw cards. That's not a thing that you can do. So it had creatures in it, I guess. But tons of the creatures also were creatures that countered spells.
I have to win the game or whatever.
Whatever. So like blue, we ended up with like sorting by like counter spells, more ways to not die, like bouncing things.
Sure.
Creatures, I guess, taking turns effects, and planeswalkers. So we ended up with like a Eugene, and he had a foil Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Wow. Yeah. That's awesome.
It was really cool. So I was like, all right, we'll put this in here. It was super great.
So what creatures are you putting in this deck?
You know what? Like I said, it was a lot of utility stuff that like Snapcaster Mage is a really great example. Then there's like stuff from...
Did you put like Delver in there?
No.
Okay.
Too cheap.
Too cheap.
And
not interested.
Stuff like, what am I trying to think of? There's like a couple of morphs, like Kiro Spell Snatcher is a good example, but there's ones from the first time that there was morph that also counter spells.
Okay.
So like counterspell morphs is a good example, or yeah, lots of stuff like that, like things that let you get back instants or sorceries. Lots of clone effects, like Vizier of Many Faces went in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So, yeah.
So does he have this commander deck now?
He does. We built it and we sleeved it up and I left it with him. So it's like now you have this blue commander and it's pretty sweet.
So like if you ever see him at a tournament, you're like, are you bringing my commander deck? Maybe?
Yeah, or he's going to be playing in Vegas. So if you play commander, you can come and find me if I'm free. Maybe we can jam a commander game. Or if he's free, you can be like, hey, I want to play against that blue commander deck. Why don't you sit down and let's play it out.
And he said that he would be working on Exava for me, right?
That's right. He's like, I've been thinking about building a black-red aggro deck. So, like, maybe some Exava.
And I've been told that Exava is actually not the commander you want in a black-red commander deck. But
do you know what? He seemed pretty impressed. He was like, do you know what? There's a lot of stuff that you could do with this.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Lots of ways to put counters on things.
I'm ready to see it.
That it's going to be pretty great.
Yeah, Commander is great for just carrying around in your bag for a fun
He was talking
game.
about like putting Bantu in there, and then like you can sacrifice persist creatures to Bantu so they come back with a counter so they're bigger, and then Exava gives some haste.
Cool.
Stuff like that. Pretty cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, everybody, guess what? We do talk Commander on this show, right?
Every once in a while and very briefly. But I would say like the biggest takeaway for me was like, one, making sure that you have a good curve. He said is super important. And making sure like not even just spells, but like the creature curve still needs to be there.
Yeah.
Even though it's this big 100-card deck. And then for like my brain for sorting it out was going through like, hey, in a blue deck, what do I want to be accomplishing? It's like, well, extra turns effects are like super cool.
Yeah.
Although I've heard that they're very mean to do in Commander. So I guess I'm also very mean, but like, what's new?
Look, I don't know if you know that they just banned a card in Commander that was a mean card.
New? I'm mean. But so it's like, okay, I want like counter spells and I want a lot of card draw. I put so many ways to draw cards in there. That deck is drawing so many cards.
Are you going to mill yourself?
So many. No, because we put Elixir of Immortality in specifically, so it doesn't. And and then being like, okay, what is this accomplishing? And then what is because Commander, you have so many options. So you can be like, what is the best way to do this?
Right.
We had lots of steal other creatures effects, lots of like treachery and bribery.
Cool.
So mean. That's great. It's great. I'm very excited. I feel very proud of it.
Flavortext Theater presents
Plane Swap.
It's like Face Off, except with planes.
It's like trading houses What's that
Trading
show?
Spaces.
No, that's a movie? No, that's a show. Trading Places.
Wife Swap.
What's the movie that I'm thinking of?
Trading.
First of all.
I know what you're thinking of. Oh my gosh, my brain can't handle it because I watched.
Is the show that I'm thinking of Trading Spaces is the show that I'm thinking of.
Yes.
Where they like renovate a room in each other's houses.
Yeah. Yes.
But the
man,
movie
I love that show.
that I'm thinking of. Oh my goodness. People are going to be tweeting that as we know.
What happens in the movie?
When he's sweet. Trading Places, yes.
Oh, it's called Trading Places too?
No, it's just Trading Places.
Oh.
Wait. Trading Spaces is the show.
Trading Places is the movie.
Is this movie that I'm talking about. It's the one that has Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd in it. Remember? Oh. And he's like a Wall Street. He's like a big.
Yes. But I
Wall
never
Street
saw
dude.
it, but I know it.
You've never seen it?
Is it really good?
Maria, it's so good.
It sounds great.
It's really good.
Okay, put it on the list.
Oh, I can't believe you haven't seen it.
Me either, actually.
And
but what
so
is this? What is this? I thought
Eddie Murphy pretends to be Dan Aykroyd.
Sorry, there's a picture of Jamie Lee Curtis that came up, but she's wearing a white kind of like blazer, so it just looks like her head's on a stick.
Oh my goodness, it really does.
Weird.
Very strange.
This is my Jamie Lee Curtis ice cream pop.
All right.
Tastes like Activia. Okay.
Now that we got through that.
What we're doing is we're going to crack a pack of Amonkhet and Theros, actually.
That's right.
And we are going to lay the cards out and then swap them as if they existed in the different planes.
Yes, they're going to trade planes, as it were.
And of course, these cards enter into our Patreon drawing at the end of the month.
All right. So the first one I've got from Theros is Thassa's Bounty. 5 and a blue. Draw 3 cards. Target player puts the top 3 cards of his or her library into his or her graveyard.
You played that card. But it was like
sure.
Kind of slow. Anyway.
All right.
Miasmic Mummy. 2/2. When it enters, each player discards a card. Oh my gosh.
All right. My Thassa's Bounty is going to be
Bounty of the Luxa? No, wait, that's already a card!
Okay, I'm trying to think of like how to like make it so that it's like instead of just being bounty. Okay, Thassa's Bounty, and it's instead of draw 3 and then mill 3, it's you mill 6, and you can return up to 3 cards with cycling from your graveyard to your hand.
Oh yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yeah. Miasmic Mummy is a bestow creature that's pretty cheap. So it's like the black bestow. Let's say it's a 2/1 bestow.
Yeah.
But when you bestow it, you have to discard a card.
Okay, and mine's gonna be called Bantu's Gift.
Ooh, that's good.
Because it's like, even though Kefnet is the blue god, I feel like he's black and is very graveyardy.
Yeah.
And this turned into more of like a graveyardy card.
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right.
Bantu's Gift. Okay.
All right.
Boom.
Ooh, Wave Crash Triton. You remember this guy?
Oh my gosh, this guy was great.
2 and a blue for a 1/4 heroic. If you target it, tap a creature an opponent controls, and it doesn't untap.
Theros is so great. I've got Consuming Fervor, which is a single red. Enchanted creature gets +3/+3 and has, at the beginning of your upkeep, put a -1/-1 counter on this creature. Wow. But this is already like doing some kind of bestow shenanigans.
I know, right?
In a way. It's got to be a heroic card, though. You reminded me of the heroic mechanic.
Yeah.
So it definitely is the one, like, what were the ones that when you attack, that's when it gives itself a bonus, right? And at the end of 3 attacks, you sacrifice it.
Oh, yeah. What were those?
Those were so good. Oh, man. They were like, I want to say trials or...
Yeah, it wasn't trials. It was like... It was like for the different gods.
Yeah. Oh, we'll find out. But that's what this is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there was a red one. If there was.
I'm sure there was.
God, I remember the white and the black one and the blue one.
And the blue one.
Why can't I remember the red one? Maybe it was worse than the other ones. But anyway.
Maybe it didn't exist. I guess heroic was only in some colors.
But this is that for red.
Yeah.
So every time you attack, you get a +1/+1 counter after 3 attacks.
You sack
it, which is better than this card.
Yeah, it's much better. Okay, so Wave Crash Triton becomes...
I'm not looking this up now.
Becomes a Wave Crash Crab.
Wave Crash Crab!
Wave Crash Crab. And it's the way it works is I was thinking of this in terms of like cartouches.
Yeah.
Is that it's essentially a creature that if you put any aura on it, it has a cartouche effect where it's a heroic, like if you target this,
my gosh,
then you can return a trial to your hand.
Cool.
So you can just return another enchantment to your hand. So if you target this with an aura or a spell, you can return another enchantment you control to your hand.
Sweet.
Yeah.
This is like hard, by the way.
This is really
harder than I thought it was going to be.
I know. I did not think it's
I've got a Tawcrop Skirmisher.
Ooh.
2/1, which has Embalm for 4.
I have Fairies Band Centaurs. It's a vanilla 3/7 for 5.
I'm like looking for the... Oh, remember Dragon Mantle? Anyway, I'm trying to see...
Oh man, I do remember Dragon Mantle.
Red had some good cards.
Yeah.
We had Magma Jet in this set. Anyway, no, there was no red version of this, but I know there was a white one, so let's go find it.
I'm going to turn this into Ronus Band Sandworms.
Ronus Band Sandworms.
It's literally just Colossipede. It's a 5/5 for 5.
Tawcrop Skirmisher turns into... Who is the blue? Thassa.
Oh, yeah.
Thassa's Skirmisher.
Oh.
And it's a crab, also a crab, but it has 2 swords in the art. Because it's skirmishing.
And it's just vanilla?
Yeah, just a vanilla. 2/1.
2/2. Ooh, Chosen by Heliod.
Wow. Oh, memories.
Yeah. 1 and a white for an enchantment, creature, enchantment aura. When chosen by Heliod enters the battlefield, draw a card, enchanted creature gets +0/+2. Ordeals! The ordeals.
That's what it was, the ordeals.
Oh, boy.
I've got a fan bearer over here.
Nice.
So, fan bearer seems pretty much like what a god would have. So instead of a mummy fanning the god, it's just like a citizen of Theros.
Yeah.
Doing some fanning.
Yeah.
There's a tap effect.
Heliod's Fanner.
Yeah, Heliod's Fanner.
Mine is can be similar. It's just chosen by Oketra, and it's literally the same card.
Yep. That one was simple.
No, that's not true. Because her thing is those tokens. So it literally just becomes like the cartouche, except it's 1 and a white, and you get a 1/1 Villagencer. And it gives it +0/+2.
Painted Bluffs. Tapped out colorless. 1 tap. Add any color to your mana pool.
Kragma Warcaller.
Ooh, I liked this card.
That's right. Minotaurs 3 red black.
I love Minotaurs.
Minotaurs have haste. Whenever a Minotaur you control attacks, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Card was nuts.
What do you call it when you're wearing like the crown for winning the Olympics?
What?
You know, a laurel. Yeah. Laurel wreath.
Yeah.
A wreath of laurels. Yeah. So that's what this card's going to be. Painted Bluff is going to be Wreath of Laurels.
Aww.
Which it's got different colors of flowers on it.
Yeah.
And so that's what taps for different colors of mana.
I like it. I like it a lot.
That would be so pretty.
That would be.
Think about it, wizards.
All right. Kragma Warcaller is just what are the
There's Minotaurs in this set
I'm trying to think of what the Minotaur's name is.
Which one?
The
Bruce.
The 1 red black one. Like the rare.
Oh yes. Now I'm my brain's all messed up.
I know. This is really hard.
This is messing with me.
What is it?
Because I obviously know it. God dang it! He's the worthy. It's Neheb the worthy. There
Neheb. So this is like what's oh god. Okay, this is Neheb's Warcaller.
Okay.
And it's the same, except it's whenever a Minotaur you control attacks, you may discard a card. If you do, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like the uncommon, except you don't have to pay mana. It's just when a Minotaur attacks.
That's what happens.
It's a trigger, and you can discard a card and put a -1/-1 counter on something.
All right. I've got Kenra Charioteer, 3/3 trample. Creatures you control have trample.
I have Sentry of the Underworld, 3 white black, flying vigilance for a 3/3 white black, pay 3 life, regenerated.
Oh yeah, that card was annoying.
Yeah.
Kenra Charioteer. So if I remember correctly, in Theros, green red was like the Seder parties.
Yeah.
Party time happening with Xenagos. So this is going to be Xenagos's juggler. Because he's a reveler. Yeah. He wants to be entertained.
Yeah.
3/3 again for 3 with trample. But at any time you can not at any time. This would be way too powerful. I want it to be like he's throwing his juggling balls at people's faces to deal 1.
Yeah.
Man, if you've cast another creature spell this turn, you can tap him to throw a juggling ball at somebody. Ping him. Ping a creature. Boing.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good card, but pretty confused and good card, but guess what? That's what Zanaga wants.
Yeah. Okay, I have one. It's 3 white black still, but it's Oketra's Unworthy.
Ooh.
And it's a mummy.
Yeah.
It's a bird mummy.
Cool.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's the same card.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oketra's
Except
Unworthy.
instead of paying 3 life, you have to sack another creature to regenerate it.
I've got a Bloodlust Insider, the most controversial card in Magic. A 1/1 for 1. Target creature gains hasted if you tap it.
I have Ray of Dissolution, instant destroy target enchantment. You gain 3 life.
Ooh.
It's the same.
Yeah, that is.
That card exists except it has cycling.
Yeah.
So it's that one.
Bloodlust Insider. Oh man. So Heliod is the white god. The red god is Keranos, right?
Yeah.
So this seems like a very Keranos card.
Oh yeah, totally.
So it'll just be Keranos's Hammerman.
Yep.
Keranos' Hammerman.
Keranos' Hammerman.
Just rebrand that. Okay.
I have Agent of Horizons, 2 in a green, creature human rogue, 2 in a blue. It can't be blocked this turn.
Oh yeah, I like that card.
I really liked this card too.
I have a Harsh Mentor over here, which is our rare. 2/2. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of an artifact, creature, or land on the battlefield, if it's not a mana ability, deals 2 damage to that player.
Pretty
Ooh,
sweet.
That's cool. Well, this was just made for modern, so it doesn't even really matter. Harsh Mentor will be once again. Oh my God! I saw. Oh, somebody's gonna get a good card.
Yeah, someone's getting a good card. You'll know in just a second.
Harsh Mentor is gonna be this just like what do they wear? Toga is gonna be flaming toga. So it's essentially the same thing. Like, because he's on fire, he's gonna deal damage when something else happens. Flaming Toga Man.
This one is Spy of Veronis.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, otherwise it's the same card.
I have Binding Mummy.
I have. Do you guys want to know what the rare is? I'm not going to change it. It's just too good. Thoughtseize! Somebody's getting a Thoughtseize!
Value Town.
Nice.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
That's really great.
That's like awesome. That's an awesome
a pretty
pull.
good pull. That's one of our better pulls.
That really is.
In Flavor Text Theater.
Ooh.
Well, Binding Mummy turns into what are those? Spearmate. Heliod's Spearmate.
All right.
And it does the same thing. When another human enters the battlefield, you tap somebody down because you're piercing them with your spear.
Tapping them good. Oh, I just found Leaf Crown Dryad.
Oh, that was a good
Bestow?
card. I loved Bestow.
Bestow.
So many people got up in arms about it because you're building battle cruisers that couldn't be stopped.
Great.
But I loved Bestow.
Me also. It's so good.
Memories.
Yeah.
Violent Impact, destroy target artifact or land, cycling 2.
I'm not going to change Leaf Crown Dryad because I miss it too much.
I miss that card too.
Yeah.
Violent Impact is just essentially a card that goes in a lot of sets.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have cycling.
This is so challenging. So we're just gonna have a trip down memory lane for a second with the rest of these. Dissolve, scrying. You remember when they brought back scrying? Everyone was like, "This is great."
Yes.
Priest of Erois, which is funnily a single mana or a red mana. It just reminds me of Bloodlust Insider.
Oh yeah.
Erois was the red-white though.
Lay Claim could definitely be a Theros card.
Yeah. Oh, and Read the Bones. I loved Read the Bones. And I feel like Read the Bones could be an Amonkhet card.
Yes.
Easily.
The version in Amonkhet is not Read the Bones, but rather Painful Lesson.
Oh, that's right.
Which somehow
not as good. Let's scry 2.
That's scry 2, man.
It's so good. Standard playable. Priest of Erois, is just priest of whatchamadoodle.
Keranos.
No. In Amonkhet.
Oh, in Amonkhet.
Hazoret. Hazoret's disciple.
Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
Perfect. I've also got a Bitterblade Warrior decision paralysis and an Ornery Kudu.
Ornery Kudu.
Ooh,
so someone at the end of this month is going to get this sick Thoughtseize. Along with all of the other cards that we've opened this month in Flavor Text Theater.
Yeah, so get on over to patreon.com/MtACast and sign up to become a member to support the show, give back to something that you value, and have a chance at a super sweet Thoughtseize.
Yeah, man.
everybody, that's our episode for this week. Thanks so much, as always, for coming along with us on our magical journey through magic and this episode, other games.
Yes. Whether you believe in them or not, we talked about them, so it's up to you.
You know what to do. Head over to patreon.com/MtACast and cardkingdom.com/MtACast to get anything you need for your magical life. And, we'll be back here, same bad time, same bad channel next week. Every Wednesday, we're here for you, We're here. We're your ears. In front of your eyeballs on YouTube.
Here for your ears.
We're here
for your ears. We're here for your ears. And we've been doing this podcast for almost 5 years.
Yeah, we have. Oh, man. We're going to have a sweet 5-year anniversary thing.
Yeah, we are.
Because 5 years is like at least...
That's like a successful marriage.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to think of what the 5-year... What it is, if it's like paper, silver, copper,
I don't know.
5-year anniversary gift. Let's find out. Maybe it's
let's see.
Wood.
Wood? Wow. All right.
Wood.
Well.
We could get a really nice wooden deck box.
The 7th is copper.
Oh, okay.
So everybody, thanks for tuning in. Yeah.